Hello, my name is John, and today on Mono Story we're going to be talking about Yura and the Master Swordsman. So let's get into it and find out what it's all about.
Hit it!
This is a very sensitive subject.
You and I.
The first thing we need to discuss is the two characters that are involved in this situation, and that is Yura, who is the leader of the Hishaku and is currently attacking the Kabunabi. He is using the power of Magatsumi and has recently been shown to us that he has the sword as well. Our other character is the Sword Saint or Master Swordsman. We have recently found out his name is Akemura Soga, and he is the leader of the Enchanted Blade users and the central point for the contract system. However, during the Seitei War, he committed a mass genocide and therefore was put in a jail cell that is under the Kabunabi's main base. And one of the more interesting facts that we've recently learned about the Sword Saint or Master Swordsman is that he was the brother-in-law of Kunishige. Therefore, this makes him the uncle of Chihiro. And on top of that, when we first were introduced to him through the conversation between him and Yura, his demeanor was not crazy or aggressive. It was very calm and calculated, seeming like someone who actually knew what they were thinking and made their decision based on their rationality. Now, the current problems we are facing in the Sword Bearer Assassination arc is that Yura has recently awakened the power of Magatsumi, and this means that we need to know how he was able to use it. Now, the theory is, and the way it was stated, is that he had placed his spirit energy into Magatsumi before the Rakuzaichi auction, and this was his way of using Magatsumi. He not only fended off the Sword Saint from entering his mind, as we saw with Kyoto when he was fighting, that he also had to deal with the Sword Saint trying to enter his mind. But also he was able to take out some of the most powerful sorcerers or fighters that we know, such as Uruha, Natsuki, and Azami. And he's done this what seems to be with ease. So the next big issue is that he actually has access to the sword. So he's able to pull out the sword, which then means that if the sword is not sealed away, whoever is bearer of that sword or even being possessed by the sword has access to it. And now an even bigger problem in the story is that Yura has met the Sword Saint or Master Swordsman, and he has asked him to make an alliance, and therefore they are now going to be working together.
The force is strong with you.
Thank you.
Rise.
Now, there is so much to unpack from just all of this information in the recent arc, and the big thing that we now know is that the Sword Saint and Yura are working together, which means that they are now going to have more power potentially than the Kabunabi. And this is because the Sword Saint alone was not able to be stopped unless there was 5 other Enchanted Blade users. And we now know that at least Hirohiko has one of the Enchanted Blades, which means there's only 4 Enchanted Blades, because we also know that Kuregumo was destroyed, though we may have an idea and potential theory where it could come back through being reforged because the sword's blade was not entirely destroyed. But how are you going to be able to stop the Master Swordsman if you don't have 5 Enchanted Blade users? And on top of that, you're not dealing with just one person, you're dealing with the Hishaku, because essentially the Master Swordsman, though he is not in control of Yura, he is lending Yura his abilities, and in return, Yura is able to provide him with the resources that he needs. And in both of these characters, one of them could betray the other. So Yura could betray the Master Swordsman in order to obtain full, complete power, and the Master Swordsman could betray Yura in order to gain control of not only the Hishaku, but the world and whatever his goal is, as their goals are similarly aligned to bring peace to the nation, but how they're going to do that and what they define to be peace is completely undefined to us at this moment. And so both of these characters going forward as they work in their alliance will show us what is going to happen in the future or what their main goals are.
You know nothing about no war.
Everybody knows war. Yeah. What it is good for? Absolutely nothing.
It ain't you all, it's y'all.
Y'all.
It may still revolve around the island as no one has gone back there, and there might be something on the island that both the Master Swordsman and Yura agree on to being of importance that they want to either bring back or utilize to be able to make something to gain control of the nation, if not just to delete or defeat the Kabunabi. And this sort of problem is going to be getting worse and worse because we now know with Azami, he's been not deleted, but he's been injured very severely. So there's even less people in the Kabunabi who are going to be able to stop the Master Swordsman. Another interesting point that we've now realized is that the Master Swordsman is not crazy, as we were told through many stories that the Master Swordsman Akemura was this crazy person who got lost in himself and he became this rage-induced individual who just went on a mass genocide and deleted a lot of different people. But it seems to us now that he isn't that crazy. He seems logical, rational, and he's very well-spoken. It makes you wonder if what we were told about the Master Swordsman or Akemura is actually correct. And if that isn't the case, then what else is actually a lie and a truth in the story after this point now? Because if we cannot believe something that has been told to us throughout most of the story up to this point, then what else is in the story that is somewhat being misinterpreted or seen the wrong way, and there's an actual hidden meaning that we are still missing? And this could even be with Akemura and how, even though he is stated to be a brother-in-law, what definition of brother-in-law? As there are two definitive definitions of brother-in-law. So the original one that we would think of is that Kunishige, which is Chihiro's father, married Akemura's sister, and so Akemura would be his brother-in-law. However, if you were to look at it the other way, Kunishige had a sister who then married Akemura, and Akemura would still be his brother-in-law, because no matter which way you define it, both of these characters in this relationship are always going to be defined as brother-in-law. But it's the way that the sister is placed in the story as to who she was married to and who was the brother of the sister. So it could potentially be possible, though very low chance, that Chihiro is Akemura's son. And if that is the case, wow, that will be one of the most biggest internet breaking stories for Kagurabachi, I think.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
Only you killed him.
No, I am your father.
Right now is internet breaking. We're talking 100 chapters. We're talking the Master Swordsman is basically a free man at this point. So if that happens, it will be the most well-written and defined plot twist that I've ever seen. I would have not even considered it until I had learned that Akemura Soga was actually Kunishige's brother-in-law, which is just phenomenal writing in general. One of the last things I think we'll be seeing is Chihiro will be fighting Yura at the end of the story at some point. And that will be one of the most internet-breaking situations, I'm telling you, because Yura, I think, is going to get Magatsumi. He's going to somehow stop the Master Swordsman and he will get Magatsumi, and Chihiro is going to have to stop him. And I think Chihiro will learn the two-sworded method with Lei White Purity style. So Natsuki with Uruha, for example, if you want to give a understanding of the different types of styles. And then he'll be using two enchanted blades against Magatsumi, which will be a phenomenal fight. I'm just waiting for that. But however many chapters, I don't know. I mean, we just got the Master Swordsman's introduction. So we're talking, there are still some characters that haven't been defined as to who they are. So we've got a long, long way to go.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
And that's my thoughts on Yura and the Master Swordsman, or better now known as Akimura Soga. And I am so hyped for this moment, and I'm so hyped for the story going forward now. Whatever's going to happen is going to be so groundbreaking, and we can't even define it as a possibilities because there is too many of them. It's endless. There is so much happening in the story that there are so many things that are up in the air, and that's what makes Kagurabachi such a good and beautiful story. There's so much for so many different people. You can read it for the action, you can read it for just the story of characters and their building and how we learn about them as the story progresses. And my personal thing that I'm still waiting for is the Seitei War, because that's where all of the information is in that one war when that arc is made, and we get to finally indulge in that beauty of all the enchanted blade users being able to go just roam around and just do whatever they want to do with their swords when they were at their most strongest. That will be the moment where we learn about everything, and everything will be sorted out and explained to us. But until then, we have to just wait and keep reading and seeing what happens in the story, as it's only going to hopefully get better and better. But I want to hear what you think about the Master Swordsman and Yura and their alliance and whatever else is happening in the current arc. So please write that down in the comment section below. I also want to thank all of you who are Kagurabachi fans, whether you have subbed to this channel or been watching my videos on this. I understand sometimes I don't make a lot of these videos, but Kagurabachi will always be on this channel no matter how many months pass, how many years pass. There will always be Kagurabachi content on this channel until the story finishes, and then once it's finished, obviously I can't do anything else from there. But we've got a long, long way to go, and there's still so many things happening. So until it's over, I'm still making Kagurabachi content on this channel. So I want to thank you all for being patient and continually watching at least Kagurabachi content, because without you guys, this content would not be possible. If you haven't already liked, subscribed, and pressed the bell button, please do so. My name is John from Mono Story, and if you want to continue on watching on this channel, please click a video above. If not, until next time, I will see you on another Mono Story.